Good morning. Good afternoon, quilt roadies. I feel still like I'm in the morning because I've been running around like a chicken with its head cut off. If you've ever seen that, ever grown up on a farm and seen that, that's kind of what it was like this morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I am feverishly packing, trying to figure out how to do the minimal amount of bringing along, and on the trip that we'll be taking. Um, it's it's a bittersweet trip, I should say. The sweet part is I get to see girlfriends in Central Oregon. G and I get our second vaccines. And I am teaching, not really even teaching, I'm mentoring a Zoom conversation at the stitching post in Sisters, and so that's all the good stuff. And then after that, we're going to make a quick trip down to Tucson and wrap up things down there. We sold our tiny home down there, and so we have to go pick up some personal items that we left in it and transfer the keys. And that is, it's bittersweet in terms of that it's another step in our history, and so we loved our time. We love the comfort of it. We love the community, and we love Tucson. So I'm sure that we will be back there regularly. It's just going to be living in the van. And yeah, it's all we can count on is change. And I've been working really hard. I mean, look at my shirt. I'm at my people limit. I got this shirt in Bend, Oregon, in a little shop. I don't know the name of it. It was the same shop I got the Sloth coffee cup from. But what I wish it would say today is, I'm at my news limit. Yeah. And I have very much kind of trying to figure out how I'm moving through the world right now, because I know many of you are in exactly the same boat. You don't want to hear another negative thing. You don't want to hear another cruel thing. You just want what's wrong. And I thought, I'm not depressed. I'm sad. And there's a difference. Depression locks you in your spot, and if you are depressed, you really need to seek support, because your world kind of stops. Sad is sad, but you can keep living and keep stitching. Does that make sense? It's like if you're really depressed, you do not feel like stitching. And many of you have left in the comments, and I really encourage you to read some of the comments, because people are so generous of their heart and their sharing. And I love it when I see someone who puts their heart out on the line in a comment, and someone else in our community gives them a boost or acknowledges their pain. Because we are a community, and thank goodness we have each other and we have stitching. So I think there's where I draw my line, is that today is a tragic day, and I am incredibly sad about it, but I'm still stitching. I'm still stitching. I'm, just I mean, thank goodness we are crafters. That's all I can say is thank goodness we are crafters, because you should be able to go to a grocery store without worrying about your safety. I'm here to tell you. So I was thinking about that this morning, so that's why I thought I'd just share it with you. This morning I've been working really hard at getting organized, and I realized that I am organizing myself with my Yazzie bags. They're the best traveling bags. And someone asked in a comment to go over some of the tools that I use and that I take with me for my hexies. So I'm going to do that this morning. But my class, I keep calling it a class, but it's not really a class. It's like this, except for it's in real time. And I just am showing what I'm stitching. But the Zoom meetup at the stitching post is a buttermilk basin pattern, and I'm just showing how I approach a project. And so I have everything I need for that project in my little Yazzie travel bag. It's and this is one of Sue Spargo's Squash Squad blocks I put on the front. So my whole class is I feel like I'm going to kindergarten. So it's all in there. I also need to have my iron, and it's that, this is my, I got this little iron carrier at the Quilt Basket in Tucson, Arizona. But this is just a little Dritz iron, and it is fantastic because for this little iron it steams and it gets hot, so hot that look at I burned myself the other day because I was trying to iron backwards, you know how you do. And then I have a little bit of flatter. Now I use flatter quite a bit with my hexies because it just makes the hexie flat. And this is an organic, it's not a starch, it's an organic formula that relaxes the threads in fabric and makes it really flat when you iron it. So you spray it on like starch, but it leaves no residue. It's not a starch. It's made by the soap company. And I first discovered this, well, I first discovered their starch too at Quilter's Affair in Sisters, Oregon. And the soap company put a bottle in every classroom, and I was teaching in a classroom, and so everyone could try it, which was fabulous marketing for a new product, and I fell in love with it. And so I not only buy their starch, I buy the flatter too. So that's all in here. So I got that going. Now on to the hexies, and I cannot tell you how happy I am with my hexie on the front of my hexie bag. And this is the crafter's bag. So I am totally ready to stitch my hexies on the road. And what I am taking is, I'm taking a rotary cutter. I'll have a small cutting mat. In fact, I'll be taking this particular, just show you the tools I use. This June Taylor, it's a cutting mat on one side and an ironing board on the other. And it's just perfect in a camper. It's just perfect. I just set it on top of the stove and away I go. So I have my small rotary cutter. Someone in our community sent me the Mylar hexie, and I'm going to try those. I think that's really awesome. I have my, now the reason I like this hexie template to cut with is because you can see through it. So you can see through the to the fabric to know what you where you want to center on your motif. And this particular hexie template is, you know, it's a 1/4 inch thick. It's nice. You can really use your rotary cutter against it. And this is by Tula Pink, and it's the 1 inch. And then I have my little, since I don't have long fingernails, I use this because I don't want to get burned, to flip my hexies over. Then when I'm sewing my hexies together, I clip one side of them with these little clips, binding clips. The thread I use for my hexies is YLI silk thread, and I believe this is 100, yeah, it's 100 weight, and it's just a beige color. And I like it because when you tug on the silk thread, it just kind of melts into the fabric and you can't hardly see it. And then the needles I use are applique needles by Sandra Leichner, and they're her favorite needles. So, you know, Sandra's the applique queen, and so if those are her favorite needles, they're my favorite needles too. Now, when I iron my hexies, iron the seam down over the cardboard or the mylar piece, I paint them with a little bit of starch, and I use this foam pen, and it has a little foam tip, and you get this little bottle of like starch with this, and you put like 5 drops of this in here, and then you fill it up with water, and that's all it takes. And I purchased these at the Stitch and Post. Got extra papers, extra pair of scissors, always have to travel with scissors. I have my background fabrics all cut into squares, so if by a miracle I get to this point, I have it ready to go. And then here it is. I have all of my hexies. I put them, so on the Spring Daisy Stitchery, Hexie, hashtag Hexie Flower Sal, she puts out a theme for the hexies for the week, and you just have to make 2 flowers. Yeah, just 2 flowers. I should have been able to keep up, but that didn't happen. But what I decided to do was to write down the week and write down the theme of the week, and then I have the hexies cut ready to sew together. So this 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I have them all in all their themes. And the reason I'm bringing my rotary cutter is because I am hoping along the way I stumble on a quilt shop and find some fat quarters with some interesting themes that might fit future hexies, and I'll be ready to go. I'm thinking I should be able to get this and get a good start on getting caught up on this particular project. But that's all I'm carrying in my Yazzie Crafters bag. So I should be able to keep myself busy and for however long it takes us to do what we need to do. I feel kind of smug that I'm ready, and we're not even ready to go, but I'm ready. I'm all ready. Yeah. I have dreams for when I get home about what I would like to accomplish. I have several projects that I would like 2021 to be about. But at this point, I'm just glad that I'm still stitching. I'm just glad I'm still stitching. And I am grateful for all of you, for all your encouragement and the way you encourage each other. It truly is a blessing to be in this community. And I look forward to our paths crossing and for more kindness in the world. Oh, ooh, some jets. They're flying in tandem. You really have to know what you're doing. Okay, take care. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.